my love.
Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkissoon, and joining us on set now we have Maria Board, and we're talking about the Autism Parents Association of Trinidad and Tobago. It was a group that has been formed for a couple of months now, and they're hoping to raise awareness. They're hoping that the members of the government and those who are charged with the responsibility of formulating policy understand the plight that parents are going through and that families are going through. Not that they need a handout, but they just need awareness and they need assistance and they need to find some sort of avenue where people understand that it's not easy sometimes for families, and maybe we should start putting things in place. Good morning, Maria. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, let me start with you. Let's talk a little bit about the group itself. What was the reason for forming this group?
Well, I'm a mom of 3 children with autism, and I started a blog last year called Mountain of Sun at mountainofsun.com, and where I share my experiences about what it's like to raise 3 children with autism in Trinidad, a country that has very little resources. And I got a lot of positive feedback, and I see that parents were telling me that they need to be represented. There was a voice that was missing, the voice of parents of children with autism and adults with autism as well. And that's how I decided to start this organization.
Now, you talk about it being very difficult. What are some of the difficulties that you face?
As a mom of 3 children with autism, well, just to have one child who has a special needs is hard enough. We're talking about children who have social impairment, communication difficulties. A lot of our parents have children who are low functioning, because autism is a spectrum. So you have, by one side, children who are very high functioning, or adults who are very high functioning. They can go to school, they can have a job. But by the other side, we have children who are nonverbal, who cannot communicate, who are struggling terribly. And right now, they have no schools to go to, because Trinidad and Tobago have no public and free schools for children with autism. If they have to go to a private school, parents have to pay between $10,000 TT to $22,000 TT per term, and not all the teachers are qualified. The same applies with therapy. Therapy costs between 300 to 400 TT per half an hour session. If we take into consideration that it will cost $600 TT per hour, a parent will have to spend around $15,000 a week, because children with autism needs between 25 to 40 hours a week of therapy. Definitely, it's not realistic for the average Trinidadian.
So you formed this group to be a sort of advocacy group?
That's correct. We are campaigning for the government to step in, because this is a responsibility of the government. It's not that we're looking for a handout. APATT does not seek funding. We are looking for the government to step in to provide these schools for these children, and as well as adults, as well as therapy, because this is a very serious situation. And now I have here the United Nations Right of the Child, where it specifically says, if you don't mind me sharing, recognizing the special needs of a disabled child, assistance extended in accordance with paragraph 2 of the present article shall be provided free of charge and shall be designed to ensure that the disabled child has effective access to and receives education, training, healthcare services, rehabilitation services, preparation for employment, and recreation opportunities in a manner conducive to the child's achieving the fullest possible social integration and individual development. This is not happening, and Trinidad and Tobago has signed this agreement as well. So we're asking for the government to do what it needs to do, which is helping this part of the population that's not being heard.
So none of it is available through public care?
No, none. So parents have to ask for loans through a bank, friends, in order to afford that. Many of our children, as we speak, are being home when they could be now in a school environment being taught by qualified professionals. There's another issue here. There are few schools, but none who cater exclusively for children with autism.
And do we have the resources to do that in terms of the qualified teachers? You say that you want the government to meet with assistance, to meet some sort of assistance. Do you think that we should have schools in various zones, or is it going to be one specialist?
We should have schools all over the country. And if we have the resources to provide free schooling for children who are neurotypical from preschool level up to university level. Why we don't have the resources to provide for this portion of the population? I believe we do have the resources. We just need a commitment from the government that is caring enough to see that these children can also learn and they can be productive members of society.
How old are your children?
I have a child who is 15 years old. The middle one is 9, and the youngest is 7.
In terms of their ability to enjoy everyday activities or even go to school or enjoy educational opportunities, have they been able to?
The oldest one is going to a school. I won't call it the school that I would like him to access. The other 2 children are at home because their autism is a little more in the low functioning side, one of them particularly, and there's no schools that can cater for his needs. And this is the reason I started APATT. Now, APATT is free for everyone to register. When I started this organization, I said, this organization has to have free membership for the parents who are already paying a lot. So they can go to ttautism.com. They can go register for free. There's a forum where parents can also talk with other parents and share some of their struggles, as well as tips to what it's like to raise a child with autism. It's really hard. And I want people to understand that. Sometimes we have the media who focus a lot on the high functioning side of the spectrum. The child who is a math genius, the child who is doing very well in school, who goes to university, which of course we celebrate and applaud. At the same time, we have a lot of other children who are at home, who cannot communicate. Many of our children go to a school right here in Trinidad and Tobago, and because the teachers are not trained, they suffer the physical abuse in many cases, and they have to change. We need the government to step in. So if any ministers are listening to us right now, I want them to contact us. I want us to talk about the things that are so important and needed for our children and for adults as well. Because autism is a spectrum, and at the same time, people think about autism in terms of a child disability. Children with autism become adults with autism. What are we going to do when these children are not educated and reach adulthood?
In terms of the group itself and the membership of the group, what is your next steps? I know that you've been putting posts up on Facebook. You've been trying to highlight these issues. Has anyone at all reached out to you?
We got a few responses from a few people. We're going to have some meetings. We also wrote letters. And we are hoping that we can actually meet face-to-face with some government officials to discuss about what APATT wants to do with regards to education. That's our #1 goal right now. Because like I said, this organization I'm getting a lot of feedback from this organization, and parents are asking for public and free schools for children with autism. And I know Trinidad and Tobago has the ability and the resources to provide this. Also, I'd like to mention that there are hundreds of people who graduate from UTT with a degree in special education. The issue is that they are lost in the educational system. They are not given the opportunity to work with the special needs children because the Ministry of Education has not yet established the post of a special needs teacher. And I think when we establish that point, then we can talk about the rest.
Closing comments, Trinidad and Tobago. Hopefully your message will get out. What do you want the government to know?
I want them to know that our children are desperately seeking help, that we need them to create free and public schools for children with autism, and as well as provide therapy that is so much needed for them to reach their full potential. As well as I'd like to tell people who are listening to us who may have a child with autism, they don't know where to turn to. We are here to help. I can relate very closely to them. So if you can please contact me through our website, I believe it's on the screen, ttautism.com, and we'll be glad to chat and try to support each other.
So it's about building a network of support. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more for you. This is the Morning Brew. Stay with us. Thank you.